Hi guys, thanks for joining me for another edition of AFCON 2025. It was quarterfinal day, the first lot of games. So we had Senegal taking on Mali, and then the last game of the day was Morocco taking on Cameroon. So let's start with the Senegal game. So with Senegal, I think the game really kicked off when that sending off happened in the 22nd minute. You know, Bissouma plays for Tottenham. This guy had a yellow card, went in for another challenge. VAR, I think, intervened. Anyway, he got a yellow card and got sent off. He was very aggressive. But there were other incidences which went the other way. By the way, how nice is Mali's kit? That yellow and green looked beautiful. But I thought, like in the first half, Sinayoko, one of the players I've been talking about a lot, he went down way too easily. And correctly for me, the ref didn't give that as a penalty, but he went down. But the goal Senegal scored was a gift from the keeper. What's the keeper's name? Because it was, very. And like this guy, this keeper Diarra, he was very stable throughout the game. That one mistake cost Mali potentially a place in the semi-final, because maybe they would have gone to extra time and also gone to the penalties and did what they did. But it's crazy that they never managed to win, just draw. I even thought for a second that they might score luckily, but they had so many opportunities which they didn't take. But then, of course, they were playing with 10 men and they just struggled so much because Senegal were throwing everything at them at some points. I mean, there were points in the first half where I was like, despite the 10 men, Mali they're looking like Senegal. In fact, at points, I was even confusing the two because, usually Senegal wear green. I was like, who's this? Anyway. But yeah, that goal that they conceded, I was like, this is a quarterfinal. We deserve better goalkeeping at the African Nations Cup. He just dropped the ball and it was pounced on. And yeah, so he dropped the ball. There was a bit of a melee in the 18. Ndiaye pounces on it, scores the goal, But yeah, basically 1-0. Senegal tried all sorts of things to try and get a second. It was not meant to be. But there were there was this very good save in the 92nd minute. Diarra volley on the volley. It was sensational. So basically, the keepers from both ends did a pretty good job to keep their guys steady. But to be honest, it is very difficult for teams to play other teams with 10 men. There's just something about that dynamic. It should be the easiest thing, but somehow things get a bit destabilized and it doesn't always work out as an advantage. Anyway, Senegal became the first team to go into the semi-finals. Then we waited less than an hour to watch Cameroon versus Morocco. And basically, it started off quite intensely. I saw there was this, Shea Malone was pretty good. Damaso and Diaz early going in for tackles. Baleba looked ready for battle. That was probably the wrong approach, but probably the only approach they could really implement. Because Morocco in the early as well, Morocco, they tried some clever set pieces which were not coming off, loose balls, but and then 15 minutes in, Chamadu had a very, very bad injury, and then there was a change. I think that he was crying. He was really crying, I don't know if it's Mazraoui who fell on his leg. I think Mazraoui is the one who fell on his... Anyway, somebody fell on his leg and it looked bad. He was crying and really sorry for him. But in the end, they had to substitute him. Let me see who came on for him, actually. Yeah, Eric Mbime came on for Chamadu in the 24th minute. And of course, things went, but 2 minutes later, I think just that destabilization, Brahim Diaz. What did I tell you about this guy? This guy is a menace. He's scored so many goals already for Morocco. It was a beautiful goal scored for them. And like the way it came about was El Kabi, who I've warned you guys about. He did, like got on top of he got underneath a ball from a header, headed it right into the path of Diaz. Now, I think if that ball hadn't met Diaz, obviously, it would have definitely been saved. But Diaz was in the right place. He was onside, I think, and it went into the back of the net. At first, I thought it was an offside, but I didn't really analyze it much. But yeah, so this El Kabi is also a big problem who I warned everyone about. But yeah, with that assist. But yeah, Diaz, El Kabi linking up beautifully from a towering header. And then I started complaining about how more efficient Morocco were on the ball in everything they did. Unfortunately, we had another case of bad officiating. There's a reason why Morocco were fighting to change the officials, I think. At the end of the day, Morocco did what they did to Zambia, to Cameroon. Basically, these guys are so fast on the ball, but every chance that Cameroon tried to get close to the Moroccans, the ref would blow. You need to get at them somehow. But if every time they get close to a Moroccan, the Moroccan goes down, the referee gives the decision. Now, if he hadn't given at least one or two of those decisions early, he would have been able to maintain, and the game would have been better because we would have been seeing some honest challenges and a more competitive match. But every 50-50 challenge also went to Morocco, as what happened against Zambia. And that is what wound me up so much, because I'm saying these guys do not need anybody's help. They're easily the best team. The passing is crisp, it's precise. And I mean, for the first maybe 30 minutes, it probably wasn't as precise. But the more they went into the game, Morocco took over completely. And in the 74th minute, 74, oh, sorry. Yeah. In the 74th minute, it's that Saibari guy who scored the second. I was a bit depressed for my in-laws, to be honest, because I know exactly how they feel. When you feel like the referee could have done a better job, sometimes you feel, okay, we probably wouldn't have won this match, but we would have acquitted ourselves better if it was a level playing field. But Cameroon were fighting the Moroccans as well as the official, who showed no sympathy. There was a penalty shout on Mbeumo, which was ignored. It's notorious. It is notorious in this tournament, in this fixture. If you're going to be playing Morocco, I told you, you don't go there expecting fairness, because these guys, the problem with them is you cannot just say they are cheating and the officials are cheating. They are good enough to beat you. But you cannot play fairly because they are so good and the referee are on their side. You just can't get near them. It's not possible to get near them. So it was a complete disaster. Cameroon, my people, lost 2-0 against the hosts. They come home. Mbeumo goes to Man U to go and help them out. Mali and Senegal as well. Basically, Mali go home. Senegal go through to the next round. And then we've got another game to look forward to on Saturday, which is going to be Nigeria as the earlier game, and then Egypt versus Ivory Coast in the later game. Do not forget, you guys, to join me so that we can have an in-depth look in how they might set up and see my predictions, because this is probably going to be the most difficult one for me to predict. I'm going to be guessing. But yeah, join me anyway. Let's see how it gets on. But yeah, otherwise, guys, this was how it went. Like I say, Morocco and Senegal through to the next round. And I'll be talking to you guys very soon. Join me in my next video where I discuss the second round of the quarterfinals. Well, the second team, the two teams that are playing the second day. Yeah, so join me in that video. Thank you so much, you guys, and I'll be talking to you very soon. Bye-bye.